Some books are just books, but every once in a while, a story comes along that's so much more. It becomes a genuine cultural moment. And Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming, is absolutely one of those. It sparked this huge global conversation. So, what exactly is the story at the heart of Becoming that just resonated with so many millions of people? And when I say millions, I mean it. To date, the book has sold over 14 million copies all around the world. I mean, that's a number that puts it in a super exclusive club, especially for a modern memoir.
And its debut, it was just explosive. Back in 2018, it became the highest-selling book published that year in the United States. And get this, it pulled that off in just 15 days. 15 days. Wild! But this success wasn't just about the physical book. Nope. The audiobook version, which she narrated herself, actually went on to win a Grammy. So it was a total sensation, no matter how you experienced it.
Okay, so those numbers are obviously incredible, but they all point back to one thing: the story itself. The journey she shares in Becoming just connected with people on a really deep level. And to understand why, we've got to start right where she does. Everything, this whole phenomenon, it all starts with this deeply personal journey of just trying to find your own voice. So the book itself gives us a really clear roadmap, and that's the path we're going to follow here. It all kicks off with Becoming Me, her earliest years, growing up in a tiny apartment on the south side of Chicago. And what you find out pretty quickly is that from her childhood all the way through her time at these incredible schools, she was wrestling with this one nagging question that really shaped so many of her choices. And this was it. Am I good enough? It was this constant voice in her head. You know that feeling? It's basically imposter syndrome, that sense of deep self-doubt that she had to fight against. Even when on the outside, she was this high-achieving student who seemed to have it all figured out. And that voice in her head, it suddenly got a lot louder when it was echoed by the outside world. And these words, they didn't come from some random critic. This was her own high school guidance counselor, the very person who was supposed to be cheering her on. But she developed this mindset to really fight back. This belief right here, that failure is a feeling long before it's an actual result, that became her armor. It's what gave her the strength to push past all those lowered expectations, to get into Princeton and then to Harvard Law School. So that incredible drive carries her into the next big chapter of her life. This is where her path, and really her whole identity, starts to shift in a huge way. This is Becoming Us. All right, so picture this. She's fresh out of Harvard, lands a great job at a big-time Chicago law firm, and has a clear career path ahead. On paper, it's perfect. But she admits in the book she felt totally adrift. She calls herself a box checker, just going through the motions, checking off the boxes of what success was supposed to look like, but not feeling any real purpose. And that feeling led her to make a huge change. She decided to swerve, to get off that clear, well-paying corporate law track and jump into the much more uncertain world of public service. It was a move that, you can imagine, probably surprised a lot of people around her. She was following a feeling, not a plan. And right there, at that same corporate law firm she was feeling so lost in, something pretty small happened that changed, well, everything. She was asked to mentor a summer associate named Barack Obama. And that one meeting kicked off a shared journey that would completely change the course of both of their lives. Which, of course, brings us to the third and final part of her story, Becoming More. This is the journey to a global platform as the First Lady of the United States. I mean, just think about this for a second. The role of First Lady is totally unique. There is no job description. There are no official duties. You have to invent it for yourself, all while living under one of the most intense spotlights imaginable. And that spotlight, as you can imagine, was often harsh. She writes very candidly about how her identity was often viewed through these really damaging stereotypes. As she says it, being female, black, and strong translated only to angry for some, a cliche often used to try and diminish her voice. So how do you even respond to that kind of pressure? Well, she defined her role through action, big, meaningful action. She launched Let's Move to help with kids' health, joining forces to support military families, and became a huge champion for education, both for students here at home and for girls all around the world. So after this unbelievable journey from the south side of Chicago all the way to the world stage, it all comes back to that one powerful word in the title. What does it actually mean to be becoming? This is it. This is the heart of the whole book. It's the idea that all of us are a work in progress, that our growth isn't about reaching some finish line, some perfect final destination. It's a continuous, messy, beautiful, lifelong journey of evolving. And that's really why this story just became so universal. Her journey of finding her own voice, of finally answering that question, am I good enough, with a powerful yes, and then turning around and using that voice to lift other people up, that's a journey that millions and millions of us can see a piece of ourselves in. And so the story really just leaves us all with one final question to think about for ourselves. What does your own journey of becoming look like?